Hi, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you, Heather, for joining me. We are going to talk about Kaltura today, and I thought Heather was the best possible candidate for this because she's not just my department head, but she's also the Associate Director for Instruction and Access Services. Did I say that correctly?
Yes, thank you.
Awesome. It's a long title.
It's too long to fit on a business card.
But it fits our purposes perfectly because you're not only in charge of your own instruction and classes, you are advising all of the other librarians teaching here at the law library at UGA how to do that best, what kind of topics to include, and possibly how to incorporate Kaltura. So I was kind of a newcomer to this. I really wasn't familiar with it. So I went to the usual channels, for better or worse, of checking out their own website and checking out Wikipedia for information. And I was kind of surprised about some of the facts that I learned. When did you first hear about Kaltura?
I found out about Kaltura at the beginning of the pandemic when everybody was scrambling to get online, and we were required or certainly encouraged to record our classes so that if students were absent, they could watch the class if they couldn't be there in person or if they couldn't attend by Zoom or whatever. So that's how I learned to do it. It's a really interesting platform. It does some great things. I'm pretty happy with it.
Yeah, I remember how enthusiastic you were when I asked you about it, and it's hard to be enthusiastic about something like this just because with the pandemic, I think we all kind of have Zoom fatigue and video recording fatigue. But if this product works in an educational environment, all the better. And I'm glad that we actually here at UGA and all of the USG schools are allowed to use it. So that means you've been using it for the whole time that you've basically known about it.
2 years, give or take.
2 years. Okay. What is your overall satisfaction with it?
I'm pretty happy with it. One thing I've learned that they talked about, I came from the University of Illinois, and what the education people there said, you know what, students really don't care about high production values. You know, as an instructor, I want my video to be perfect and be perfectly edited and not make any slip ups when I talk and have beautiful visuals and call outs and whatever. And it's like, you know what, they don't care. Just make the video, get to the point, and don't agonize over making it be a Hollywood movie.
Awesome. I think we all appreciate that because we want production for a Hollywood movie, not necessarily for something that we need to learn from, although a little bit doesn't hurt. But
yeah,
I remember
it has a really cool artificial intelligence captioning tool. Depending, of course, on your accent. We have a librarian from Alabama who has a somewhat regional accent, and she says it doesn't understand a word she says. So it's more difficult for her.
I think I read on their website that that's one of the things that these higher educational institutions have to comply with certain laws and regulations and allow closed captioning to be part.
Yeah, it's an Americans with Disabilities Act requirement for accessibility. And it helps everybody. You know, if you can read along with what the person's saying, it helps everybody.
Yeah, I can tell you that from experience as a person whose first language is not English. It's really helpful if you can see it in any language, first or second, for learning purposes. It's really helpful. Can you tell me some kind of positives and maybe a negative, if you have any, about the using?
I really don't have any. I haven't gotten into the editing. It has editing capabilities that I haven't used very much. A thing I can use is when I get to class, I turn it on right away so I don't forget. I turn on my Zoom and I start recording. And so I have like 10 minutes of basically dead air at the beginning of my video. And there's a way where you can tell it start at this time point and end at this time point. And then when the person clicks on the link to watch the video, it just jumps to that place and shows it from there to whenever you tell it to stop. So that's a feature I use a lot.
Awesome. Have you used anything similar in the past that you could compare this?
I'm trying to remember what it's called. There's another video program. Captiva, maybe.
Yeah, I think that's one
Yeah,
of
and
them.
it had lots of fancy editing and music, and you could put little things on the screen. And we got a little carried away with that, but Kaltura is really enough for what I'm doing. I don't need a lot of fancy bells and whistles.
And do you have any information about how the students receive it? Do they see it as a positive thing, or do they even know this is?
I don't. I
Kaltura
think
that
it's
they're watching?
transparent. I think they just see it's a video and they just watch it, and they don't know that it's Kaltura versus anything else. It's just a link to click on, and the video plays, and that's all they need.
Awesome. I've also seen that this is usually with some big institutions use it, usually some big companies, their portfolio is really remarkable. Is this because probably this product is not too cheap? Or do we even know?
I'm sure we pay for it. I have no idea what it costs. It does seem to have a huge storage. It's both a editing and a storage capacity thing. So all the videos I've ever made are in here, unless I've heard delete them. And I just
so
I've
it's
been lazy
good.
that I should go back and delete some of the older ones. I just haven't. But it's as much a storage platform as it is an editing thing.
That's interesting to know. I see that they, over the years, because one of the biggest surprises to me was that this is not a new or newish company. This company was founded in 2006, and
Okay.
it kind of evolved and diversified and focused on different things, maybe than what it kind of started out with.
Okay.
But that was one of the things that I found interesting, that it's an older company that kind of
Yeah.
kept up with the times and went one way or the other. Awesome. I appreciate it because I really didn't have much experience, neither as a student, definitely not as an instructor, but it's
Sure.
good to know what's awaiting in the future and what kind of possibilities there are out there for us to use. Can I ask you to do some kind of a mini
Sure.
short demonstration for us?
Let me get logged in here.
Because I think this is what we learn the most from, when we actually
Sure.
see things in action.
Right. So I'm logged in now, and I click on myself and I go to my media, and
Okay.
it'll give you my list. So this is this week's class that I haven't published yet. Let me go back. Oh, where did I put it? Unfortunately, I can't tell which is which.
You can store lessons that you don't want to release just yet, and kind of
Yeah, this
put it on
this
a
will just sit
calendar.
here. I got a little message saying your Zoom recording recorded, and I get this little message, and it'll just sit here till I use it again. I'm trying to
Okay.
remember. I had one. Okay. Here's one that I had a guest lecture.
It's always
And
exciting.
let me just skip to the middle. So this is my guest lecturer who's teaching us how to do trademark searching. And down here is the transcript.
Uh-huh.
And the problem with the transcript tool, actions, caption and enrich. So here I'm in the caption tool and I'm clicking on this little pencil and I can edit it. The problem is you have to watch the whole video. You can't correct the transcript as a document. You have to watch the video and wait till you get to that spot. So it took me, this is a 15-minute video, and it probably took me an hour to go through it all and listen to it and listen to what she was saying and write it down and try to fix it. And there were a couple of places. I just had this little thumbnail here, and there were places where she would point at the screen and it was too small to see what she was doing. And I contacted her and she said, yeah, I was pointing at the screen. I don't remember what I said. And so then I had to use the timestamp to go to that part of the video and look to see what she was pointing at. And then I could come back and fix the transcript. But it's brilliant because the words are in here mostly. They get some really bizarre mistakes.
Yes.
But the problem is it takes a long time to do it.
Okay, but once it's done, it looks like it's very.
But once it's done, it's there. And then when you get to the actual video, how do I close it? then you've got the whole video. And it, as you play the, as you play it, it goes to that part of the video and shows you where you are.
So the work you guys.
That's awesome.
So that's a great thing. And then the only other thing I have to do is publish. So published is where it puts it out there on Kaltura, where anybody at the university can see it. Unlisted means anybody I give the link to can see it. And then private means only I can see it. So that was a problem I had at the beginning. I did a feedback video for my first year students when they did their midterm. I wanted to give them feedback and I forgot to publish it. And they kept saying, we're clicking on the link and we can't see it.
Yeah, well,
that's an important step.
Live and learn.
Yeah. And then the share button, this is where you do the timestamp thing. So, if it actually started, I've just got all this blank screen and I just figure out what my time is. And then I put that here, 10 minutes and whatever. And then I end it if I have dead air at the end, and then it builds it into the URL link. It'll just start at that point instead of 10 minutes of dead air. So these are the things I like about Kaltura.
Yeah, and this was very handy. Thank you. I think it makes people understand how the features work and what the end product is going to be, and some of these little issues where it
does have a really sophisticated. There is more sophisticated editing where you can chop things out and do stuff, but I've never really. That's a level I haven't gotten to yet. Maybe someday in the future, but I'm always afraid that if I try to edit it, I'll end up deleting it. And so I want to learn more about it so I don't do anything by mistake.
Yeah, well, that's great. And we really appreciate it. All in all, now I see that you enjoy using this, as you've always said, as the Associate Director for Instruction with other librarians in the group. Do you recommend the others use it? Are they using it? Is this?
Yeah, we're all this at some point we have been required to record our classes. And so this is by far the easiest way to do it. I've been recording this semester, except for this particular guest speaker, because she's like me, she talks fast when she's excited. I haven't been doing the transcribing. I've been posting the videos without the closed captioning, just because I haven't had the time to sit down and do it.
So the closed captioning is automatic, but you still have to go through it.
You have to go back. Sometimes it says really bizarre, obscene mistakes in what it thinks you're saying. So you have to be a little bit careful with it.
Especially with tricky subjects like trademark law, where little things can make a big difference.
Exactly.
Awesome. Well, I much appreciate you helping me out with this project and letting
thanks so much for having me, and let me know if you
learn
have any
about Kaltura. And I think this was very helpful for everybody. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye.